Oh my goodness, this video is so late. Thanks for being patient, everyone who was probably waiting for this video. I don't know if you were waiting for this video. This is voiceover, Maddie. This doesn't usually happen. I don't want to be on camera right now because I got tired of looking at my own face while editing this video. So let me explain what we're going to do in this video because I kind of didn't do that in the video itself. We're going to talk about this show right here, Shadow and Boners. Am I right, lads, ladies, and lassos? So we've got this girl. She's a map maker. Or is she? And we got this dude, and like some other people. The show is based on the books that I've read. Hopefully you've read. They're good as shit. I'm a spoil the show these books are based off of because it's based on the book. So yeah, you might have wanted to read the books, but also if you've watched the show, you should probably be fine too. I don't know your life, but yeah, if you don't like spoilers, get the fuck out now because I'm not gonna rehash pretty much anything. We're just gonna dive right in. So enjoy.
You know when you're getting old, when you put makeup on like this and you're like, I can't go outside because otherwise people are gonna know that I watch TikTok and I'm this old. Because you can tell by hey, the whatever the fuck this is, that I'm not good at whatever the fuck that is. So nerds, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maddie if you're new here. I hope your day is going well. And today we're gonna do the Shadow and Bone basically review, hot takes, just a smorgasbord of stuff about Shadow and Bone. This was supposed to go up the night after this show released. So basically what happened was I was planning on taking time off to watch the show and get you guys a review out that weekend. That didn't happen because I actually left for California the night after the show dropped. So my dumbass was like, yeah, what I'm gonna do is I am going to stay up all night. I'm gonna watch the entirety of the show. I'm gonna film and edit and upload a review for you. That didn't happen, as you can obviously see. I do have my reaction clips that I'll show you here in a second, but I did want to make like a full video for you guys. It's not really necessarily so much a review as it's just like criticisms that I've seen of the show that I want to talk about, criticisms that I have of the show that I want to talk about, and a whole bunch of fucking memes, because that's what I'm here for. And I also wanted to do some TikTok makeup. I wanted to look like an e-girl for some reason. I don't know. I think it'll do really well on Instagram where I'll just say like,
but make me your villain.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I'm really washed out. So, hopefully that's cool. If you don't like my makeup, you can leave now. I don't want to hear it. I know it looks like shit. We're not discussing that. I don't have a script for this video. Typically speaking, for my reviews, I script things out. I'm going off the cuff, and I will hope that editing Maddie doesn't hate me. I'm assuming she does. But basically, I wanted to talk about the show on a whole. On a whole, I think people have been receiving it really well. I know that we've been kind of not hearing confirmation about a renewal for a second season, but at this point, I feel like I would be genuinely shocked if there isn't more to come because it just seems like it's going to be a big hit, personally. The biggest thing that I can say right now is like, let's say for a book, if we're going out of 5, I would definitely rate this like a 4.5. It was a top-notch adaptation. I definitely think it's one of my favorites so far for any sort of YA adaptation ever, and it definitely did such a good job of taking the Shadow and Bone book series and the Six of Crows book series and smushing them together, just like we were hearing about. I know that somewhere I heard that Leigh Bardugo basically said that this is very expensive fan fiction, and honestly, that makes a lot of sense. It did such a good job of blending both of these storylines, and I am just so excited to see what else they can do with what Leigh Bardugo's work has already created. Because if we're going to look at other adaptations like Game of Thrones, for that matter, there is a lot of issues that lead into the fact that, the showrunners did not have hard material to work with after they ran out of the books, basically. And you can see how they really did not know what to do with that. Whereas in this adaptation, I thought it was really interesting that they used what they had from Six of Crows and then blended the Six of Crows storyline into Shadow and Bone. This video is not sponsored by White Claw, but if White Claw wants to sponsor me, I'm totally down for that. Just grab a drink, hang out with me, we're gonna have a good time. If you don't know what Shadow and Bone is, I don't really know why you clicked on this video. It's a show about people who may or may not have powers, and it's a thing. I don't know. I'm not here to. This is not like a recap review. This is me being chaotic as fuck, which is the normal thing. So if you like chaos, you can just hit the subscribe bar. I am close to 10K, so if we can get there as soon as possible, I would absolutely appreciate it. What I did think was interesting that my brother pointed out while we were watching the show together is that the Six of Crows characters were implemented in a way that they are both integral and not necessary to the plot at all. If you took the Six of Crows characters out, Alina's story changes like nothing, barely anything. They interact with her, but they don't really affect her journey, which I actually really did like. Her journey is very similar to everything that has ever happened in the book ever. That didn't really make a lot of sense, but whatever. Overall, I think that the show does a fantastic job of both telling Alina's story and showing her journey, and then also blending in the Six of Crows characters and getting their character development ready for what happens in their series. It was very, very good. I am so excited to see what else they can do with that. Now, moving on to the individual characters and kind of the hot takes and things that I thought was really interesting. And one hot take that I'm going to just start with, and I did not take notes on this, it was just something that I noticed in the show, and I have to go back and rewatch it because I only rewatched the first 2 episodes, and I thought, fuck it, I'm going to put some makeup on and we're just going to talk at a camera because that's how I do things here. But I think the funny part is that after the Darkling kind of becomes a focal point, we get this backstory and we get to see Ben Barnes just being, you know, like the tortured backstory character, and I do think it's so interesting to see how many Darklina stans are already fighting tooth and nail for them to be together, even though he is a bad person. He gaslights, he tortures, he is a murderer, like a straight up murderer. He is not a good person. He is righteously evil in the sense that he thinks he's doing things for the better of his people, but he doesn't care what happens in between, you know, getting there. If it involves murder, he's super down for murder. You know what I'm saying? But there was a few instances with Ben Barnes is that I just felt like he's just a little too nice. Like, I am a Ben Barnes stan, but he was one of those characters, one of the performances, I just felt like it was a little bit lackluster. And it wasn't the fact that I think that he couldn't do the role. I just think that he didn't give me as much evil as I wanted from the Darkling. Like, the Darkling is not a good guy, and I wanted to see more of that, and I don't know if they just didn't allow him to dedicate that much evilness as I thought that they would. But, you know, other times I thought he was really interesting and sweet. I didn't feel as much chemistry between him and Alina as I felt with her and Mal. But I do actually think that's a good thing. Like, you're technically not supposed to root for him. He's technically the bad guy. He's sexy, but like, he's still the bad guy. Still the bad guy. Whereas with Alina and Mal, on the other hand, it was really interesting to see the reactions to Mal. Immediately, everyone was like, I'm a Mal stan. I stan Malina. What the fuck? And Archie does a fantastic job. Absolutely, highly impressed with his skill and what they did to that character to make sure that he is much more interesting and well thought out compared to the Darkling. I did think it interesting because Levi did mention something that I thought was really interesting, that basically Mal, when you first meet him, he gives off big Gale Jacob Black vibes. He's definitely the best friend, and in the book he's toxic and creepy. Not creepy, but like, he's toxic. He's a teenage boy who is not reacting well to the world around him, especially considering the fact that he does not know what the fuck is going on with his best friend, and when he finally shows up, she's just partying with a dude that he doesn't think is a good guy. So I understand why he does a lot of the stupid shit in the books, but he is not a good character in the books. He's not good for her for most of the series, and it is frustrating. But at the same time, I definitely think that with the show, they took that character, they made him better, they made him more relatable, they made him more understanding, and they made him hot as fuck. So I do really enjoy that. But yeah, coming back to Benny B, I just think that he was just, you know, too nice. And like, they prettied him up a lot, and I didn't even really want a backstory on him. or like a flashback. I just wanted him to be like, yeah, I'm fucking evil, and I have reasons for being evil, but I'm not gonna tell you what they are. I wanted that reveal later or something. But like everything that he does, especially at the end, was really cool. Like the whole antlers under the skin, that was visceral, that was ugly, it was terrifying, and I liked that a lot. So there's that. But yeah, Mal is just the himbo cinnamon roll that he needed to be. I don't need to protect him for any reason because he's got this. He is a bad bitch and I stan him. I stan him a lot. I like him. He's perfect. Mal haters, if you're still a Mal hater in this day and age, go touch some grass. Also, we got to talk about the goat. Why was the goat there? Why was he there? I don't understand. But also, I would die for that goat. Actual death would happen before that goat is harmed. He is definitely a Wyland stand-in, but like, how is it possible that Jesper can have amazing emotional chemistry with everyone on set, including just farm animals? Coming to the crows, obviously, they are absolutely perfect. I love each and every one of them. They did such an amazing job. The casting, top notch, especially with Nej. Jesper was so good. And then Kaz, even though, I don't know, something about his facial structure, it didn't lead me in as much. And also, I'll just get into the Knej thing here. I didn't necessarily like what they did with the Knej storyline. I kind of wish that they had actually shown Kaz buying out Nej's indenture, like them first meeting, them becoming like closer knit, because I feel like Kaz opened up a lot more in this season than I was expecting. I'm not sure exactly how they have this more seasons planned out, but I think that was a little bit more than I anticipated, which is okay, but it's just some food for thought. Let me know what you guys think, if you thought the Knej storyline was a little bit rushed. I think it was fantastic the way that they did it. It definitely felt like the Six of Crows, kind of them being like, we're business partners, but you kind of own me, which is a little weird. Yeah, you're an investment, whatever, and I don't care about you, but like I really do. I care about you like a lot, and I'll sign over the deed to my my club if I don't get to keep you or something. I don't know. But you know, it was peak. Just perfect. Just perfection. I was yelling at the TV multiple times. And now let's go ahead and get on to Nina and Matthias. I saw a lot of Matthias slander on my fucking timeline. Now, when I read the books the original time, I loved Matthias. Nina is my favorite character, and so Matthias means a lot to me, but I didn't hate him. Like, I understand why people do not like him as a character, but I do think that the books and this adaptation, those scenes were just like straight out of the books. They were beautiful and really well done, and the chemistry between the actors is perfect once again. But I do think the one thing that I found slightly strange was that a big criticism of the show is specifically that Nina is not plus size. And what I thought was odd was that she was being dressed like she was bigger than she was. Every other person on the show was not dressed that way if they were slender. And she was definitely in clothes that made her look bigger when she's not even, you know, like wearing like furs and shit because they're walking in the freaking mountains. But I did think that that was an odd choice. And I'm not sure if it was because they specifically wanted to keep her plus size, but they just didn't cast a plus size actress. Not exactly sure what that was about, but I do think that the actress did a fabulous job. She was incredibly talented. She nailed the role to my personal preference, and I'm hoping that, you know, in future adaptations, things like plus size representation is not left out. Additionally, another thing that I saw that was critiqued on the timeline was specifically about Jesper not being coded as bi. He was mostly coded as queer or gay, and personally for me, I agreed with a Twitter thread that I saw where basically it's just bullshit for bisexual people to have to prove that we are attracted to all genders all the time. Like, we had a finite amount of scenes with the crows, and the fact that the first and one of the only sex scenes on screen is a gay one is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Personally, in my personal opinion, I think that it was done extremely well. And I honestly don't want an over-sexualized version of Six of Crows or Shadow and Bone. I think what they did in this show was good enough. They waited to have any like smoochy scenes, and I think that was really good because I don't want this to be an over-sexualized Game of Thrones fantasy show. I don't want this to be The Witcher. I want it to be an interesting look at power dynamics between different types of relationships. And with Jesper, he is definitely a wonderful, interesting character, but we have to allow the showrunners to give those characters time. And just because he can flirt with everyone doesn't mean that he has to. You know what I'm saying? Just bisexuals aren't always flirting with everyone. Okay? And honestly, if someone can make me give a fuck about a goat that has literally no plot relevance to my knowledge, that person needs an award. Just an absolute award. He was hilarious. He made me laugh so many fucking times. It was perfect. Now, here's the thing. If we get to the next seasons and they do not include the fact that Nina is also queer and we don't get Willen, like Wylan. I always called him Willen. His name's Wylan. I will riot if we do not have my cinnamon baby roll of a human Willen, okay? If we do not get that character, or Nikolai for that matter, I will riot. And by riot, I mean I will write some strongly worded tweets. That's about it, so yeah. The biggest thing that I can say specifically about this show is that they poured money into it. The editing, fantastic. The cinematography, fabulous. The color grading, the differences between the fact that Ketterdam is like this green kind of dark, shadowy, very Tortuga-esque world, and then going to like West Ravka and seeing the differences in color, so interesting, so fantastic, really well done. The costumes and the set design, insane. The special effects, awesome. And it just makes me, think back to all the other adaptations that I've watched that have been absolutely terrible. Think about if we had Freeform doing Shadow and Bone, like they did Shadowhunters. One of the Sprouse brothers would have been the fucking Darkling. So at this stage, I am thankful for having been fed some excellent fucking food. And they better give us a second season. That's what I'm saying. Like just give us the confirmation that we're gonna keep seeing these characters on the fucking TV screen for at least a decade, please. Please, 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 please. At least a decade. Just, at least a decade. What I find interesting was the focus on the racism in the Ravkan society. The one thing about Shadow and Bone is, as I've mentioned, as I have a video on this channel specifically how I read all of that series in a day, and I don't remember most of it, that series is not well crafted in the sense that it shows the cultural significance of Alina being half Shu, and I honestly did like the fact that we focused on that. I am not someone that can really talk on that particular topic. I saw a lot of people making some Twitter discourse about it, but I definitely think that was an imperative addition to the show because that culture would be racist. There was little details too that I absolutely liked that wasn't in the series, like the fact that there was the scarification that people did after they make it through the fold, little details like that where it's like it showcases that people go through and they mark themselves for having gotten across this terrifying traffic stop. I don't know. That's the wrong word. Obstruction? Shit. I will say that I will congratulate the directors, producers, everyone involved in the fact that there was only like 2 cape swooshes by Benny Boy. I wanted him to just do all of the sexy cape things, and they showed a lot of restraint. I would have been okay if he had swooshed through every single scene, but it was good that they reined that back. This is why I am not in charge of a Netflix show, because if you give me a cape, I'm gonna be like, sexy swoosh, swoosh like this, swoosh like that, sexy cape drop, all of that stuff. Now, this is where I come to the point where I've run out of the notes that I do have, and the last note that I have is, I'll meet you at the meadow, had me fucking crying so hard, you don't understand. all of those little details between Mal and Alina, all of the details between the crows, everything that went into this show is so inspiring, and I'm really excited to see if we get more and what exactly they're going to do to keep this show going, because it is so good. I'm hoping that if you haven't watched it yet, you should go watch it now. Kind of like my friend who said that he hadn't fucking finished it when I asked for memes on Instagram, but whatever. So there's that. I'm gonna go now, guys. Like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Bye!